Romelu Lukaku's future is starting to get clear, but not great news for Chelsea. Could there be a second chance on the table? What? Then we get Barcola. Well, apparently Fabrizio says there's been a deal offered to PSG and Chelsea. We'll break that down. And we've got Mohamed Kudos basically just acting back, waiting and saying, you know what, West Ham, you can wait on me. Because the reality is big clubs are coming. We'll break that down for you. We've got an update on Romeo Lavia. Mudryk is injured. Yes, another player injured. And finally, what's going on with Callum Hudson-Odoi and Trevor Chalobah? Let's break it down. Welcome to the Kavkas View, guys. The running order today is a little bit stacked. It's not the glamorous names that everyone always expects. However, it's a nice video to make because we get to talk about some different topics for a change. You know what? This whole summer has been loaded with Lavia Caicedo, Lavia Caicedo, Lavia Caicedo. It's a little bit nice for us to actually talk about Romelu Lukaku, Kudos, Barcola, then talk about Callum Hudson-Odoi, Malang Sarr, Chalobah, Mudryk, and Lavia a little bit because you have to, right? But I want you lot to do me a massive favor. I want you lot to hit the like button. We want 1,000 likes on this video. I want you lot to subscribe to the channel because that's the best way you lot can support. I'm not asking for any super chats. I'm literally asking for a subscription because you're clearly enjoying the content. You made it this far. And finally, share it out. If you enjoy what you watch here, hit that share button and share it out to your friends and family. It's the best way you can support the channel. Let's start the running order really quickly. We already know that Chelsea are actively trying to pursue a new forward, right? And Chelsea want somebody that can play in the number 10 role, but preferably be an option for the wing as well, because it basically fixes two boxes. When Nkunku comes back, when Carney comes back, the squad will be nicely bloated if we buy 2 additional players. So we're just going to make do with 1, and then it's a player that can be very versatile and add good quality. Option number 1 is Mohamed Kudos. Mohamed Kudos' camp is playing this beautifully. This is coming from Fabrizio Romano and Ben Jacobs. They're basically saying they've sat back, got a cigar out, they've got a drink in the other hand, they're sipping on it, smoking on it, and they're saying, listen, West Ham, you can wait for us. At this moment in time, West Ham want to buy the player. They've offered 42 million euros. Ajax said 50. West Ham are slowly creeping that number up, but Kudos is in no rush, purely based on the fact that his camp believe as the window gets closer and closer to the 31st of August, a big club's going to come in and acquire his services. Ajax are sitting back praying this doesn't happen. They want Kudos to stay. They want to rebuild and they want him to be the face of that rebuild. But the player basically knows if an offer comes in that he deems worthy, he wants to go because he believes a big club is in for him and he is keen on joining that big club. Chelsea are definitely interested. This is from Ben Jacobs and Fabrizio Romano. Story number 2 links beautifully in with a story that Nazir Cancelo wrote about Malang Sarr, Chalobah and Callum Hudson-Odoi. Reason being is those 3 are still on Chelsea's books. Chelsea are going to try and move them on in the next 8 to 9 days. Chalobah's deal? Well, at this moment in time, Chalobah is basically sitting there and waiting for an offer to come in. Once an offer comes in, Matt Law has reiterated that Chelsea have told him, you're going to get sold. They want to take the profit on their FFP balance sheet. They believe it's time to move him on. And I partially agree. I think he's a good player, so he needs to go away and play football somewhere else. Malang Sarr is a little bit of a complex piece, purely based on the fact that he makes 100k a year. That 100k a year contract is turning off a lot of teams. Teams do not want to take that onto their books. And Malang Sarr doesn't want to take a pay cut. Like, who on earth is going to say, you know what, actually, let me just hold that little pay cut and move for 100k, when reality is this next move is going to be nowhere near as lucrative. I promise you now, there is no one else in the world that's going to give him that kind of money. He was a free agent. He capitalized. His agent done a great job. He had a good year under Thomas Tuchel, went on loan, had a big injury, and now literally no one wants to take a risk on him. So it makes sense. The final one is Callum Hudson-Odoi. The Hudson-Odoi saga is very interesting, purely based on the fact that Hudson-Odoi has agreed to deal with Fulham for a while now. Callum Hudson-Odoi wants to stay in London. He does not want to leave England. He wants to stay in London. He doesn't even want to venture out. Nottingham Forest are interested in the player. Burnley are interested in the player. And there are certain clubs abroad that are interested in him. But Callum wants to stay in London. Crystal Palace and Fulham tried to make a deal work. He agreed personal terms with Fulham. Fulham weren't willing to pay £8 million. Yes, I said it, £8 million. Callum Hudson-Odoi's stock has fallen so badly that he's worth £8 million now and no one is willing to pay it. A little bit embarrassing if you ask me, but it's the way the world works, right? 1 minute you're on the top, next minute you get dropped down. Be humble. Number 2, and this is the big one now. Fabrizio Romano is saying that Barcola, the Lyon winger, who is very talented, can play on the left, can play on the right. Some even say he could most probably do a job at 10. I don't know, haven't seen it. Footage I've seen of the player, he just looks very, very direct and likes to exploit the wide areas of the pitch, take a man on, a little bit of tech here and there. Looks like he's competent with both feet. I don't know which one is his dominant one. I think it's his right, if I'm not mistaken. But Chelsea want the player. Fabrizio Romano has now reiterated that relationships between Barcola and PSG are very good. Relationships with Barcola's representatives in Chelsea are very good. However, the issue lies between Lyon and those clubs. Lyon and PSG have been negotiating for a while now, and they're not getting to a finale. Chelsea are actively trying to wait and see what's going to happen. However, Lyon are very keen on a swap deal. And this is right up Todd Bowley's street. Todd Bowley doesn't believe that in the football game, they don't do swaps. Like, how the hell does that work? You need to remember, right? He comes from an American education in the sense of, in sports there, they literally swap all the time. Like, I'm a massive NBA fan, so I can speak on the NBA. Yo, every time a player comes, there'll be 2-3 players joining the other way. There'll be some picks, some drafts. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Sometimes there's cash included. For him, he's most probably trying to introduce something new. A lot of people can say, oh, you know, nonsense. You shouldn't be doing that. Guys, this is how things develop. Like, this is evolution. This is the evolution of the football game. At a certain point in time, sometimes I don't need money. I'd rather have talent. And in this case, Chelsea have got a ton of talent that they're willing to offer. So we will see what happens. But Barcola to Chelsea is on the table. Speaking about a big problem on Chelsea's hands, Romelu Lukaku has become a massive problem. And I've literally said there's a massive update regarding Romelu Lukaku. And this is it. I could have easily led the show with it, but it just made more chronological order for me to talk about what's coming in before what's going out. Mr. Romelu Lukaku at this moment in time had a table from Al Hilal for 50 million euros. Chelsea were doing backflips, Todd Bowley was doing cartwheels, Igbali was running up and down doing the bleep test, and Winstanley was literally eating everything in sight because he couldn't believe his luck. The only problem is Romelu doesn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, doesn't want to say Habibi please, he doesn't want to be speaking Arabic, he wants to go only to Juventus. The man has got it in his head, I'm joining Juventus, I'm not interested of anyone else. He literally turned his back on Inter Milan, no other clubs are interested, and the annoying thing in this scenario is now, Rom might actually get his own way, purely based on the fact that Romelu Lukaku at this moment in time has 8 days to find a new club. The avenues of Saudi Arabia are closed because Al Hilal have now went and signed Mitrovic for 42 million euros. And now the issue here is Romelu Lukaku either goes to Juventus or he just sits on Chelsea's book. Now, Nazer Cancelo reported that initially Pochettino wanted to have a discussion with Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku has no interest. He doesn't want to return. Poch then said, okay, if that's the case, we're going to isolate you. Your bad vibes are not going to be in and around my squad. You are not coming nowhere near my team, and you're going to be far away where we don't see you, we don't hear from you. When you come to Cobham, you go right, we go left, purely based on the fact you go train with the kids, we go train by ourselves. And since then, apparently that's been the case. So what's going to happen? Apparently Chelsea are going to go back and try to talk to Juventus, but they're going to be forced to lower their transfer value. 35 million euros is most probably going to become 25 million euros because the international market is not looking for it. I've got a tip. Go and get Joao Felix. Trade Joao Felix for Romelu Lukaku. My problem for your problem. You take the big wages, we take the big wages. You get a striker, we get a 10 and a winger. Simple. Really, that's what I would do. The final bit of news, well, I've got 2 good news and 1 bad news. I'm going to give you guys the bad news first because you're going to get your vegetables first, basically. For those of you that don't like vegetables. Number 1, Mudryk is injured. We don't know the contents of it, we just know he missed training today and it looks like he won't be fit for the Luton. Frustrating? I think so. I think this was a great opportunity for Mikhailo Mudryk to build up some steam, to literally, hopefully, stat pad against Luton, for us to have a good performance, for us to actually get some numbers on the board, get a first win of the season, get some confidence up in our chest. But he wasn't pictured in training and it looks like he's... Then we got the news about Badiashile. Good news, Badiashile is now playing with a football again, he's involved in training, he is actively now recovering and it's the final stage of his rehabilitation, so hopefully he could be back in the squad real soon. God knows we really need him. Like, I'm telling you now, Levi Colwell and him in the back 4 will be a very good partnership. 2 left footers, people are going to get angry and say, you know what, that really works, angles of the pitch, you can't have 2 left footers. Why can you have 2 right footers? Like, literally, why can you have 2 right footers? Like, make it make sense. If you're gonna say you need to have one right foot or one left foot, I'd say, you know what, that makes sense. Okay, I understand that. But why can you have 2 right footers but you can't have 2 left? Don't know. Someone in the comments explain that. And finally, Romeo Lavia. He's not injured, he's just on a different regimen, trying to get his fitness up so that what happened to Caicedo does not happen to him. They're trying to literally amp him up to the point where his fitness is up, he gets involved tactically, he develops tactically, and then when he comes in, he's firing, he's ready to go, he's going to get minutes, and within a game, he's ready to play 90, hopefully. At this moment in time, we're so stacked in the midfield, we went from having no options to too many options, and that's a good thing. So guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts, and more importantly, have a lovely day. See you on Friday. Tomorrow, I'm taking a day off. Unless there's some kind of mazzoline, unless there's some kind of madness that happens with Chelsea, which I highly doubt. You guys are going to see me on Friday. Peace out. I'm out.